Another imperfection that's commonly found is these little dirt nibs. And to get those out, Marty, how can you do it without taking away the texture in the surrounding areas?
Roger, we've got a lot of different options to do this. We have many different ways in the past. Conventional ways have always been typically to either wet sand it or use a DA with a 6-inch footprint. When you sand it, then you've got your big area, as you mentioned, where you're going to eliminate that texture just in that spot.
So it'll kind of show up after the buffing's done. So to reduce that, then...
The 3-inch DA was then the second option, where you had a smaller area where you sanded, but again, still, for a piece of dirt right there that's maybe a 64th of an inch, you've got a 3-inch footprint now from that DA. What we found works very, very well. If you typically take anywhere from 12 to 1500 grit paper, like you would use on a DA, wet or dry paper also does work very, very well. In addition to this, we like this paper because it was made for dry sanding, and dry sanding is really what we prefer to do because you can see exactly where you've sanded.
Good.
You cut the paper into strips approximately 1/2 inch to 1 inch, and you find your affected area that we're talking about, and you press down with your finger while you drag the paper over it, and this levels down the area very, very quickly, and it cleans the paper out while you're pulling it through. We're not going back and forth in a back and forth motion because that way the dirt does not get lodged in the paper. And you can see we've leveled the majority of it away.
That works really well.
If it's a larger spot of dirt, then we may want to use the 1200 first. For smaller areas, we're going to stick with the 1500.
And using your finger really keeps it focused on just that dirt area.
Exactly, because your finger is kind of a pointer in this case, and you can change directions with your paper if you prefer, and then once in a while clean your paper off with your fingers if you feel it needs it. And once you've got it 90 to 100% gone, we're ready to buff.
Boy, that's nice. Does the job well, and it doesn't really cover a lot of the area, and you can still have that textured look like the factory put in the car.
Exactly, exactly.
Sounds great. Thanks, Marty.
You're welcome.